Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, we have another live stream. My ex wants to be friends. What do I do? I've actually talked about this before. But someone mentioned it on the Discord. And if you go to my Discord, which is the link's in the live stream here, and you post a question with a story or a situation, I might just use it in the live stream. So thanks for doing that. The individual is... So funny when people use these names. S-SOG or something like that. Yeah, S-N-N-S-O-G, whatever that stands for. Jasper J. Marcello. Well, living island life, which you can relate to. How's Hawaii, my friend? Looks like you're living it up. You're doing well. Are you officially over the ex? So, like I said, there was a question today about should you be friends, should you not be friends? And, you know, this comes up a lot in your individual breakup, in your individual situation. The short answer, if you have to ask, you probably already know the answer deep down. Business is booming. What's your business, if I may ask? I'm not sure what you're doing these days. But I'm happy for you. I'll tell you that much, my friend. Got these little gnat flies. Where do they come from sometimes? Business is booming. Well, that's a refreshing statement. Six on deck. Petty Betty. Ali Riza Moderos. What up, homies? Chilling like a villain. You ever use that one, Danny? What's up, homie?
No.
Homeboy.
Yeah, I use homeboy more than homie.
Accounting, but transitioning into real estate. Well, good for you. Accounting's one of those things that's just a highly useful skill in any level of business. That's a base skill. I guess real estate's just going nuts. Quentin Mitchell, long time no see you too. You know, it's a good place to put your money right now. And I would say, I don't know what part of Hawaii you're in, but I would say that's blue chip real estate. Someone was just asking me about that recently. They're like, what do you mean blue chip real estate? Like blue chip stocks. There's certain real estate because, as Mark Twain said, buy land, they stop making it, that it just will never go down in value because it's beachfront or, you know, it's in an area that there's a lot of business. I do believe this, though, Jasper J. Putting on my real estate cap for a minute. Sorry. Oh, fuck.
A fly.
Yeah, man. Just annoying. It's worse than a mosquito. Have you ever? I've had one of them fly in my eyes before. It's not even it's like a fruit, little banana fly, or whatever you want to call it. I want to talk more about me and my professional career instead of breakup advice. Well, that's good. Good for you, man. Life changes so quickly, right? Life changes so quick. If you throw a real estate question at me, I did 3.5 years in the Bay Area residential. I know a thing or two. Did I get him? I know a thing or two. I would tell you this. People are looking for places to put their money. Dare I say the word safe, but real estate, it's like gold, right? And so I would say that a lot of people are probably, if they have a swath of money, there's a lot of millionaires right now, Jasper J. A lot of millionaires with the Bitcoin and things like that. And if you can buy something close to a beach somewhere, this is my thing. This is my 2 cents. Living on an island, a tropical island that's, I don't know. It's probably how many? What do you think it is today? 32 Celsius, 33 Celsius, Danny?
Yeah, it's 33.
33 Celsius today. It's dry heat. That's about 90 degrees. It's beautiful. It's like that all the times, all the time. And I think that with what happened during the pandemic, a lot of people were able to work from home. Their companies are transitioning out of office space. And I've already talked to friends, family members that are like, "Oh man, I'm in Mexico right now, or I'm over here and I'm allowed to work from my computer." If that happens, right? And I was making good money, why wouldn't you move somewhere where there's a tropical island or a beach or the mountains? I mean, wouldn't you as a human being overall? I know there's some people that grew up in cities and that love the city. I know whenever I talk to someone that grew up like in New York, they love New York City. They love it. They just love it. Or here in Thailand, people from Bangkok, they generally love Bangkok. Isn't that true, Danny? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe not.
You have a mixed reaction to that?
Yeah.
I've heard recently people that have moved out of there, but generally speaking, they are used to city life where you just have more options for food and entertainment, things like that, right?
Yeah.
They'll complain about the restaurants because there's 1,000 more restaurants in Bangkok, right? I mean, it's just a different place. But I think that's going to change. I think a lot of people are going to be working from home. So we think it's cold. It's funny. I meet a lot of tourists from the Bay Area who work in tech. Bro, they're going to be moving over there. They're going to be moving over there. The Bay Area, well, that's just my 2 cents. The Bay Area is still a nice place, but it's overcrowded. The traffic's ridiculous. There's a lack of nature, a lot of cement structure. If they could work from their computer, it would be a millisecond that I'd go, I can live in Hawaii. Okay, I'll do that. We already have some people moving over to Thailand doing it. So, All right, my ex wants to be friends. What do? I want to get to this statement really quick. Jasper J, and they worked on YouTube and Google, yeah. Well, that's where Google and YouTube started, was in the Bay Area. The yay, as E40 says. I try to be active in ways that don't require emotional effort, yet a question is cycling my mind for weeks. And this is best place to ask for advice about this. Thank you for reading. No problem. If you guys want to go to the Discord and drop something, I might read it on a YouTube video. Otherwise, go to writemac.com and send your story in. X says they want to be friends. First question, do you want to be friends? A lot of people are reactive. They are outgoing. Is this an opportunity for me? Is this something that might work? Right? Are you going to make a covert contract that if you're friends with them, covert means they don't know what you're doing, that you're going to be friends with them and somehow this is going to elevate your chances to get back with them? With some individuals and some relationships, it might work. You know, with someone that is a very soft personality, doesn't go out a lot, maybe it works. But you're lying. But if it doesn't work, you're going to feel really shitty. Because what happens when I meet people in a live coaching session and talk to them and they say, well, I want the friends route, the number one thing that comes up is they become resentful because they somehow think, oh, progress wasn't made. I thought the friends thing would work. Here's the thing. Your ex knows you really well. They know you inside and out if you've been together in a serious relationship for a couple of years. They're going to know if you're not being genuine as a friend. Being a friend and being boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, fiance, etc., they have different names because they're different things. Newsflash. So you can be friends with your ex. It's just that the circumstances have to be you really want to be friends with them. So he goes on to write, X says they want to be friends. They really do want to chat with me all day, every day. Okay. So chatting all day, every day. And this is where it gets interesting, because if there's a lot of relationships out there, I'm sorry to say, they have a very shallow level of person-to-person interaction. There's a lot of them out there that people are like, oh, we only see each other once every 6 months or once every year. What? And they're perfectly fine with that because they met online. So if you stay friends with an individual like that, I don't know if it changes the dynamic that much. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're looking for in a relationship where you talk online a lion's share of the time. And some people love it. To me, you can transition into that much easier because your physical interactions are different. That being said, you still have to be honest with yourself. If that's not what you want, don't do it. They really do want to chit chat with me all day, every day. The key here is they want to. You haven't said you want to. I ask on what grounds we build our friendship. They say I don't know. So here's what you just did right there. You just put everything in her hands. So you want to be friends then? And chat all. They want to chat with me all day. They want to be friends. And I asked, on what grounds do you want to be friends? So you're basically looking for directions on what to do next. Unattractive, number one. Number two, you're a puppet on a stick at some point. And he said, she responded, I don't know. Translation, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't want to be with you. He didn't mention if she broke up with him or not. There was another situation a while back. I was coaching this guy he's about 22, 23 years old. He met his girlfriend online. He said he didn't really meet a lot of women in high school, and so he was a late bloomer kind of a thing. He even got teased when he was younger that a lot of people thought he was gay, which he said he wasn't, which I was like, okay. And because he had a real soft character to him. And so he said he met this woman in her early 20s, and it was great. Rose petals and wine glasses, fantastic. It was, love it. They went to the park. They studied together a lot. It was just outstanding for him. It was the best experience of his life. I'm understating that, how much he was in love with her and how much he thought that they vibed. Here's what happened. She was going to school. I believe she was in her master's program for psychology. She had a part-time job. She was busy. He had a job. He wasn't going to school. Now, I'm not putting him down because he wasn't doing as much as her, but what happened was, what's up, Tommy? What happened was she had all this stuff going on, so she wasn't as available with her time once school started. So what happened? He became needy, weak, whiny. Oh, you don't make time for me. Oh, we don't hang out as much as we did. And finally she broke up with him because she said he was just making her feel guilty all the time. Well, after we did a live coaching session, this woman wanted to be friends with him for sure because he had this really soft character about him, and he tried to do it multiple times and got stung every time because he'd go, we started talking again, and I'm like, well, and he's like, well, it's kind of like we're friends, but we're not. But he had strong feelings for her. He still had strong feelings for her. This guy got stung about 3 times, and he had no idea that it was his fault. It was equivalent of like, oh my God, I got stung by a beehive, and you go, well, was it you that put your finger in the beehive? You know what I mean? That's what you're setting yourself up for. I'm gonna be friends with her, and then basically feel even worse because you got demoted, right? Let's look at it this way: you had a prestigious job at one time at an office, or let's even say the military or something like that, and all of a sudden they demote your ass and they go, you go from E9 to like E1 or E2. I don't even know if that's a classic clarification there, Tommy. I'm out of my ranks here. What does it go up to, E9, E5? You get demoted. So a lot of people, if they got demoted on unfair grounds, they'd say, I'm out of here. Because it's shameful. And folks, the lowest human emotion is probably shame, followed by guilt. Those are two of the, if you hold those, it's really hard to get out of that web. And then you also, I thought you'd appreciate that, Tommy. I got some military friends, bud. And they used to come through Phuket on R&R, actually. We used to do Navy League parties. And that's how I knew the E9 thing and all that stuff. And we used to have some dinners with some guys that were E9, E8. It was fun. People from all over. And anyways, getting back to this, right? the worst case scenario, you stay friends and you play the role. And some guys are really good at this. Like, oh, they keep telling themselves, like, we're friends. We're like, oh, we talked for 2 hours last night, or she called this and that. What happens when she drops the, oh, I met some guy at work? Or she starts dating someone, or she has a crush on someone, she drops it to because you're friends now. And you think, oh my God, she's talking to someone else. I can't believe she did that. No, you did that. I make suggestions on how we might compromise. So let me get back to this and read it from the top because I'm getting sidetracked here. I try to be active in ways that don't require emotional effort, yet a question is cycling in my mind for weeks. And this is the best place to ask for advice about it. Thank you for reading. X says they want to be friends. They really do want to chat with me all day, every day. I ask on what grounds should we build our friendship. They say I don't know. Translation: I don't want to hurt your feelings. They do know. I make suggestions on how we might compromise. See, this is extremely weak. I'm gonna just be honest. I make suggestions on how we might compromise. So this is hopeful, and this isn't a. I would have NSOG, which is what the nameplate says here. I'd have to know what happened during the breakup, but the idea that you're gonna make suggestions on how you compromise building a friendship after a breakup, way too complicated. Way too complicated. They accept only to turn it all down later, specifically when I'm going out of my way to be supported and give them my time. Why do you keep saying they? It's confusing. Give them my time. Giving self-pity excuses. The multiple separate sincere times I've asked about their feelings, they offer no suggestions on how to work things out to even be friends. The question is, do you even want to be friends? Why are you spending time? You're being hopeful and wishful, and you're being pitiful. The multiple separate sincere times I've asked about their feelings. The fact that you've been sincere and asked about their feelings, and they do not owe you anything after the breakup. They don't owe you a right to compromise. They don't owe you an explanation. You broke up. Part of what I do when you come to me, let's figure out what happened and why so you can get some clarity. You're obviously not very clear on why they broke up because you're now going, we could be friends with the hopes of getting back together. On what grounds are we friends? Now think about this. Danny, go ahead and chime in if you like. Mm-hmm. You got friends. You make friends.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends. I never start a friendship out and go, hey, Danny, we've known each other, we're friends now. What grounds are we friends on? Like, you wouldn't even ask that.
Yeah, who would ask that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even like it when someone goes, you start hanging out with a new friend, or you know them through someone else, or she through someone else, and they're like, hey, you didn't add me on Facebook. I've had people do that, and I'm like, oh, that's a red flag for a friend. It's just like, you know what? Let's just not make this complicated. We're just friends, man. Mm-hmm. Like a guy did that one time. Hey, you didn't add. I don't really go on Facebook. I just don't go on it. It's not my thing. I'm not active or anything like that. I still have. Oh yeah, right, man. It's like, friendship should flow like a river, man. It should be cool. Mm-hmm. And so if you're gonna go like, on what grounds are we gonna be friends? What? There's. How can we compromise and make suggestions on our friendship? It's way too complicated. Way too complicated. And it's needy. And it tells someone, well, this isn't really a friendship. This sounds like someone wants more. Is this a good time for the no contact rule? What's the alternative? What's the alternative? This person's not telling you why they want to be friends. They've broken up with you, it sounds like. You've been sincere, you've been kind, you've been compromising. And this is what people get really upset. I've done all the right things for communication, right? Because we can go online. I talk about ways to communicate. People don't give a shit sometimes, right? Oh, this is the way they should communicate with me. Says who? You? Maybe the fact that this individual wants to talk to you online and chat with you all day, every day, and they really do want to, has nothing to do with the relationship. But if you're going to give this person a taste of what it's like to not be without you and possibly want you back, then the no contact rule would probably be paramount. Or is it better for our mental health if we keep trying to work out grounds for a new friendship? How would it be better to work out? This is new grounds for a friendship. You're making the friendship a way bigger task. You're almost talking about it like you're starting a business together. I really want to be there for my friend, but my intention is not to be used. If you feel like you're being used from the get-go, just find a new friend. I mean, that's the thing. If I've had before, and this is a little cloudy, NSOG. I'd have to maybe talk to you because I'm a little confused if this was someone that was your girlfriend before or if this someone is just your friend that you have a crush on, because that's two different things, right? And I had a doozy of a client years back that was in a 4-year best friend type relationship with a woman he went to grade school with. They were in their 30s, and they had just like reunited and become really good friends, man-woman friends. And which I've said before, I don't have a problem with it. There's some guys that can be friends with women. I have women friends. It's fine. Making it like your best friend where you guys hang out all the time, someone's going to catch feelings. Unless, you know what I mean? Someone's going to catch feelings. That's just how it is. And this guy had feelings for like 2 years. And then the woman made an innuendo like, what if I put you up on that table and just gave you a BJ? And he was like, what? And she was like, oh, I'm just joking around. And it really ate him up. And weeks later, he was like, hey, what about what you said last week? And she was like, I was just joking. We're friends. And it ended up busting up their friendship because he got pissed off. He got a little excited by the suggestion. And she was dating other guys while they were together, but he wasn't honest with himself. There's, correct me if I'm wrong, Petty Betty, and we got MXXN, we got Jenny on here. Get a woman's perspective. It's pretty funny, huh, Petty Betty? And actually, me and him did live coaching for multiple hours, probably 8 or 10 hours of it. And now he has a girlfriend, and he's doing really well. His situation was he had a really bad situation with his first girlfriend, and it kind of put him almost into a mode where he wouldn't try with women. And so it was actually good that happened, because then he realized that he had been lying to himself, that this wasn't just a friend, it was someone he was attracted to, and he took the wrong approach. But what I was going to say is, if we're not talking about an ex, let's just say you're talking about a friend that's a girl, or vice versa for women that are friends with guys that they become attracted to. There's a window, and there's moments during that friendship, if you're both single, the stars lined up, maybe you had a couple cocktails or a couple glasses of wine, right? And it's like now or never you're going to make that move or hook up. There's a window. It doesn't last forever. There's an expiration date on it. So if you're friends with you're friends with someone you're attracted to, and because a lot of times if you're friends with someone you're attracted to, sometimes the timing's not right. You might be seeing someone else. You go, if I was ever single, I would see this person or this or that. But there's an opportunity to make a move, and then it's gone. There's windows. Petty Betty says he should have been down when she asked. Probably right. But you know what hurt him, Petty Betty, is when he brought it up later on. She was like, oh, I was just joking with you, like, come on. And he was like, no. He got really serious about it. It's kind of, and he was like, no, I don't think you were joking. I think you really have feelings for me. So now she got on the defensive. She's like, can we just forget about this? She got really embarrassed. And I was like, that was the total wrong approach. If you wanted to see where that went, you should have said, had a few drinks and maybe went out. And he goes, well, I don't drink. Drinking is one of those things, it definitely does grease the wheels sometimes. All right, let me check the live stream if there's any questions I missed here. Jasper J, if you're still on, Hawaii 5-0. I hope you're doing really well, and I'm glad that you're transitioning into real estate. Maybe you got to check out Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki's body of work, because I believe he's from Hawaii, grew up there. Quentin Mitchell, always a pleasure. Every time I see you now, I think about the good advice you gave me on my ex. Well, I appreciate that. I want to talk more about me and my professional career instead of my breakup advice. Well, isn't that music to my ears? I'm into real estate as well. Wholesaler. Good for you, Quentin. Fruit fly don't bother me. It's 65 degrees over here. Yeah, no, it's about 90 here. Buy land because man cannot make land. That's true. We think it's cold. It's funny. I meet a lot of tourists from the Bay Area who work in tech. I was chilling with 2 girls yesterday at the beach, and they worked on YouTube and Google. Cool, man. I don't think it's a good idea to be friends if the ex still wants to get back with you. I agree. A girl saying she just wants to be friends, and another way of her saying she don't want you, and she's not ready to be with you like that. That's your cue to kick rocks and move on. Always decline the friend line if that's not what you're looking for. She's being selfish. Tommy jumps in. He don't know his own value and don't respect his time. You're allowed. No, you know what it is? He has a very pragmatic approach. Well, if I compromise and I communicate correctly and I take this path, it's like you're using tactics that would be something an engineer would use or a doctor would use for emotional feelings. What you should be doing is creating polarity. Polarity means we're either in or out. We're either hot or cold. Friendship doesn't create polarity. It creates comfort and ease. So it's been mentioned. I think it's in one of the dating books, Models by Mark Manson, maybe. But polarity, for example, a guy that goes up and asks a woman for a number, which I don't think happens anymore. Do you think that happens, Danny?
Yeah.
You do think it happens?
Yeah, it still happens.
Okay. You do it then.
No.
Okay, so because now it'd be like, what's your Instagram, or people meet people on dating apps and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But my point is, that's a polarized mission. Someone's going to say yes or no. They wouldn't go, oh, well, hold on. If I give you my number, does that mean we're going to be friends or that you're going to call me all the time? Now, someone could act that way. Like if I went up to a woman, I was like, hey, let me get your number, right? And she's like, well, does this mean that we're going to be friends or business partners, or does this mean you want to pursue me in a romantic relationship? I'd go, you know what, just forget it. Right? Just say yes or no, right? Let's just create some polarity here. What's up, Coach? Glad to see you're doing another live. All right. U.S. Army. Sounds familiar with my situation. Talking to his toxic ex again as friends, as he stated. He hasn't healed whatsoever. As I mentioned yesterday, I did have to move out. Self-healing now and no contact. MXXM, let me know when you want to share the story or if you want to call in right now and get bold with it through Skype. Relationship Cow, but I don't have a relationship channel. Did you just make up that name just for this live stream? That's funny. She was testing him. Roller girl, keep rolling. Situations like that all come down to how he reacts in the moment. It's just never good to even be in the situation, but we all learn from experience. Everything is a lot easier said than done, to be honest. Absolutely. Should have been down when she asked. I'm still hurt from my breakup, but it is what it is. What is it? Please share. My ex-girlfriend cheated on me and I gave her everything. Everything. That sounds, what's everything? and I gave her family everything. I literally go to work and come home and take care of her. She wasn't working. I spent $13K on Jordans in 8 months. What? Relationship cow? $13K on Jordans? For the family or just for her? Dude, I hope those are getting hung on the wall and there's some kind of collector's edition. $13,000, Danny, on Jordans or shoes. Mm-hmm. That's about 500,000 bought or 400,000 bought on shoes in 8 months. Wow. So, relationship cow, can I ask you a question? Why the hell did you do that? Did she drug you or something and take your wallet or what? Then she said I worked too much and that's why she really left and called me a POS. What's a POS? But I'm like, dude,
piece of shit, I think.
English is Danny's second language and he knows it better than I do. Piece of shit. Calling me a piece of shit, but I'm like, dude, we go everywhere and I always make time. That's when I realized what you do will never be enough. Let's talk about relationship, Cal. Do you want to call in on Skype and talk about this, or is that too much? First of all, maybe a good book for you to start with would be No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. And did you have a history of giving your girlfriend everything, or do you feel like you've been manipulated? Because okaying let me just put it this way. I've had other friends that complain about their wives or their girlfriends' spending habits, because I don't know, when you said I gave her everything and I gave her family everything, if this is more or less financially based, because your example is financial based, right? Because unless you're keeping those Jordans boxed, they're not really an asset. How did you get to the point that you okayed $13,000 purchase on Jordans over 8 months, or that was just done behind your back? I spent $14K on Jordans and Yeezys because she don't have any. I take care of her brothers and put groceries on their table and to help her. What? Okay, so MXXM says, I'm sorry that happened, Cal. But the reality is you gotta say you were part of that, right? Like, you okayed it. It wasn't done behind your back. Now, taking care of her brothers and putting groceries on the table, that's admirable and noble. That's one of those things where I tell people, when you do something good to take care of someone with human needs, such as food, shelter, health, when you're on your deathbed, which will be a long time from now, I hope, relationship, Cal, you won't regret that. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to go, oh, I shouldn't have gave those kids groceries. Buying someone $13,000 worth of Jordans in 8 months, I don't know if you'll regret it, but I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't have any pity for you, because to me, I'd be just like, what's this all about? I mean, so you got to rethink why this happened, and also take some accountability and responsibility that you're the one that supplied these things, thinking, I mean, were you happy to do it in the moment? And is this something you do with your women or your girlfriends anyways? And are you at a point in your life where you're making such good money that 13 grand in 8 months isn't shit to you? So that's another thing, right? Like, to me, you know, being excessive with that kind of money sounds ridiculous. But if I was a millionaire, maybe it wouldn't be so ridiculous, right? Where are you at in the world, Cal? I wish the best for you. 14K on jerseys and Yeezys, Jesus, that's resale purpose to generate revenue. I do know that Jordans now, like, you can resell them and things like that. You know, it was a great investment, Rob, is Michael Jordan's rookie card, but they knock it off too much. Because anything that's rare and scarce, that's a collectible now, vintage cars, things like that are real, I resale also for. Well, then that's a different business. I know people that do that. 42 pairs because she wanted them. Okay, so that's a problem because was it your pleasure to buy them for her, and did you have the ability with your own funds and your own, if you're buying that, is that like, 10% of your income? Is that 20% of your income? Are you going in the hole because of that? And do you this might be over, but do you find it attractive that your girl has a spending habit that big? Even if that's the case, you made a massive error. I make 6 figures a year. That's beta territory, dude. Sorry you're hurt by it, but don't bring up things you did anymore so you can move on faster and get a hotter girlfriend that will help you move on. If this is true, you need to change your approach ASAP. But I Apple Pay her $700 a week and she stayed with me. All right, let's talk relationship. Cal, you want to call in on Skype? We'll unpack this mofo. And she was a dom. Never buy shoes for anyone. They will walk out of your life in them. Oh, come on, Petty Betty. Trying to be clever. You need a girlfriend that likes flip-flops and buys her own stuff. Are you describing yourself, Jen? That's funny. Her family had nothing, but I was always there to help her mom pay for rent. You can download Skype in a millisecond. I've had people say that before. So if you want to talk, go ahead and do. I just like Skype because it seems to work clear and someone will go, well, what about this? What about that? Yeah, just download it. Seems to work the best. Me and Clutch just had an hour-and-a-half conversation with no problem. Did you get the Travis Scott Jordans? Oh, no. Wow, Jordans are that big, huh? I'm only 29. No, I don't regret it. She wasn't looking for a job or anything. I moved her in my house and things like that. Because her house was only 2 bedrooms and they had 7 people living there. Well, here's the thing, dude. The writing was on the wall. I don't have a... here's what's really interesting. This is a quote. My quote. Don't blame people for who they are. Don't blame people for who they are. Just observe, take some notes, and decide. Is this someone I'm going to ride with, or I'm not? But you're not going to change who they are most of the time. And if she grew up poor or in a poor lifestyle and values materialistic items, and it was your pleasure in the beginning to buy them for her, well, then the playbook was already written. Yeah, I read about the Jordan cards going up in a huge in price. She did good things for me also, to be honest. No, I'm not going to go on the whole. I mean, she was buying me things too. She was a good stepmom to my child, though. That counts. Jenny says, yep. See, when people give examples, they usually are talking about themselves. She gave my child everything, to be honest, but she met a bunch of guys dealing with shoes, so that's how it's happened. Or they'll step all over you in them. Yeah, I got a bunch of Travis. Any New Balance? Now we got into shoes. Wow. IG photos of the Jordan collection. I haven't spoke to her. She texted me a few days ago cursing at me, but that's about it. So what do you want now, Cal? You want her back? Well, you know. I always find that interesting when someone's broken up and someone was the breadwinner or made the money or took care of someone else, that always stings more. Like, and I paid for everything, and I took care of them. But I wonder what, in the modern relationship scheme of things, I mean, doing studies on relationships is really sticky. I don't know how they can do it and get accurate data. But I wonder, when you have someone that, it's one thing if you're a stay-at-home mom and you really like it, you know, but there's not everyone that likes that. Or your husband or your wife makes a lot of money and takes care of you. Every human being needs significance in their life. They need to do something that makes them feel good about themselves. And shopping is one of those things that it's a short thrill. It's kind of like a cigarette. It's something that, it's a cheap thrill that doesn't really last. Right? It's not. Would shopping be fulfilling? Yeah, in a moment. But if someone's overspending on shopping, there's something wrong there. What they're doing with their free time. I have a 5-bedroom house, mortgage, and I have a child course. I'm going to work and give them everything. We always go out, and still, though, I always made time for her. She kept it. I don't want it. It's okay. She can have them. She's fly now. Maybe you try to get the shoes back. No. Why did you guys actually break up? It wasn't because of the shoes. What happened? What was the final words? I'm no longer in love with you. I'm no longer attracted to you. And relationship, Cal, let's just get a temperature read while we're talking about your relationship. On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your attraction and intimacy at the end? On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your connection and chemistry? On a scale of 1 to 10, what was your trust? Okay, so everything was a 10, or intimacy and attraction was a 10? My son's dad did those for me, but we stayed friends for the sake of our kid. If it wasn't about my son, then we don't talk at all. He wants a chance, but I'm done. It got physical. Wow. Trust was a 6, but she always accused me of cheating, which I never did. So she doesn't trust you, so you don't trust her. Someone that always accuses you of cheating is usually insecure, and they're actually, this might surprise some people, it's not always true, but they're actually more apt to be a cheater themselves. I know it sounds strange, right? It's not always true, but they're more apt to be a cheater themselves. You know why? Because they expect you to do what they would do. I've talked to people before that were in breakups, and they were upset about they caught their ex cheating. And I remember this. I never forgot this one client that was very goody two shoes. You just wouldn't suspect it by the way they presented their character, and I think she caught him dating or something like that, and she was really upset. This and that, caught him doing something. I forgot. It wasn't blatant cheating, but she was upset. And then out of nowhere, she's like, "Well, I guess this might be karma because I did cheat on him before." And I was like, "What? You cheated on?" Well, yeah, but he never found out. He never knew. He kind of knew, I think, because he questioned me a few times. I was like, women are way better at keeping the secret of cheating. Way better. I've had multiple women tell me that were in divorces that caught their husbands cheating. God, why was he so stupid to get caught? Like, why did he leave out the evidence? Like, they didn't want to know. Why would you want to be in a long-term relationship where someone's accusing you of something you didn't do? I think that's one of the worst things friend, family member, colleague, intimate relationship can do. I never want to be accused of something I didn't do, and then you don't believe me after the fact. She always tells me I choose my baby mama when my baby mama is already married. Well, that's just being insecure, and that's something to do with her past relationships where she got played before. Or her dad cheated on her mom a lot, so she always thinks it's people. What people do, relationship cow, and maybe you know this because you're a relationship cow. They always try to get out in front of everything, so they're gonna accuse you of what they think all men already do. Right? So this is what women do in relationships. This is what men do in relationships. So even if you're a quote unquote good guy or you don't cheat, they're going to find ways to try to connect the dots so that they're correct. It's called building a case when there's no case. But it's really unhealthy in relationships because it goes one of two ways. They'll find something that you don't find to be quote unquote cheating, and they'll twist it in a way that you're defending yourself, walking on eggshells. Or sometimes you'll just get sick of it and you'll start to cheat, and then you'll validate cheating by saying, well, if you accuse me of it, I'll do it anyways. I might as well do it anyway. So it's never good. So the healthy way, if someone thinks someone's messing around, confront the individual. Ask direct questions. Polarizing questions. I've had someone recently tell me that was cheating. I didn't want to tell my husband, but if he asked me directly, I wouldn't lie to him. Interesting, right? Now, some people, like, in other words, she's saying, I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't have the courage to bring it up and say something, but if he asked me directly, I couldn't lie to his face. And sometimes people don't ask direct questions eye to eye. Sit down, let's have a talk. I want to ask you some questions about this. And then are you prepared to trust them? A 6 is probably too low to have a long-term relationship. You were probably being kind saying a 6. A 6 out of 10 on trust. Trust should be from 9 to 10 on long-term relationships. I mean, we did a lot together, to be honest. It's just guys are always DMing her and talking to her, and she fell for it. Oh, well, here's... So she's getting DM'd by guys and talking to them. She's not working, and she's accusing you of cheating. This is what people do. They make you the bad guy so you don't look at what they're doing. It's very common. They'll accuse you of what they're doing, right? So that you don't find out what they're doing. Yup. As the great E40 said. You know that song, Danny?
No.
Yep. No. Everybody's got choices. What do you mean DMs every day? I mean, that's pretty broad. She stopped loving you long ago. It hurts, but it's true. MXXM is... What's interesting about that is everyone has I know I've said this before, and maybe some people are like, yeah, you said that before. But I don't think you realize people love differently. They have their own rules to love. So someone goes, oh, that person just doesn't love you anymore. Well, maybe to them, they love you, but they're allowed to do certain things. The rules and emotions that apply to one's love doesn't apply to another's. She stopped love, but not the love for the Jordans and the Yeezys. Let me be frank, I don't even know what Yeezys are. Is that a shoe, Danny?
Yeah.
Is that a Nike shoe?
No.
It's a brand?
No, yeah, it's a brand. Owned by Kanye West himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And those are popular?
Yeah, I guess.
Man. See, this is this kind of stuff that not living in the States, not watching the news sometimes. Our poser type is you from Kanye West. $400? They're $400 a piece? Get out of here. I was just blind. I would never take her back, and I know she will be running back. Well, if you're making, how old are you now, relationship, Cal, and where are you at in the world, if I may ask? If you don't want to say, it's fine. I'm going to guess Cali, because it's Cal. This is a really good time. This is a really good time for you to get in touch. 29, great age, man. 29, making six figures, go for you, bro. See, here's a Stockton. Wow. I got family in Tracy. I get girls left to right. What's that mean? But I have a child. This is a good time for you to figure out what you want at 29 years old. You know, now that you're so I can't be dating like that. Yeah, but figure out what you want. Like, what are you really looking for? Here's what's really interesting, Cal. Well, good for you. Put that first and you won't regret it. Put your kid first, bro. No regrets on that one. That's admirable and noble. It might be a sacrifice at times, but you're never going to regret that. You know, think to yourself, what would be ideal? The kind of woman I really want. Here's what's interesting. Someone that says they get girls left to right, go for you. That means you're good with dating and you're confident. You got a lot of things going for you. You're not scared about women or nothing like that. Nice. It doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a woman that you really want long term, that would be a wife or a long term partner that you don't end up with, you know, oh, they spent all this money and this and that, this and that. What you want to do is check the environment you're meeting these women in. I go to work and come home. My child has everything. Good. You need to be dating like that so you know. Stockton. Like, I'm serious. I can literally get any woman I want, but I just don't trust them, and they're not my type. That doesn't make sense. Sorry. I like the confidence, though. And I'm not, like, I'm serious. I can literally get any woman I want, but I just don't trust them. And they're not my type. So any woman's not your type? Here's what's important. Let me reframe that. Go backwards, write out which one's your type, and then you got a checklist when you meet one, and you can just, you know, not waste your time with ones that aren't your type. What is your type? Okay, so I would go out with my friends, and a female would always try to talk to me, but they all get around. Family-oriented women. That's pretty broad. You got to narrow it down to some deeper things like that. Here's a good one, because correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of times, especially in the States, the first thing you'd ask is, or and by the way, we all judge each other in some ways when you first meet someone, on the way they dress, on the way they, and you don't hold judgments. There's a difference between holding judgments and having a quick scan up, down, and going, oh, I think this person's a skater, or I think this person's this. But when you ask them this question, what do you do? When they answer the question about what jobs they do or what job they do, that's a big one, right? So when you say family-oriented women, you ended up with a woman that didn't work from the get-go, and you had to take care of her, but she, on the flip side, you were happy that she took care of your kid. Okay. Correctional officer. I'm a correctional officer. Is that work in the jails? Yeah. But she was family oriented. All right, Cal. I just thought that was... Mr. Sammy comes out of nowhere. She takes care of her family. Well, I would get more detailed because family-oriented women don't necessarily end up as great matches. Get a little more detailed on what it is you want, what it is you like. And ask yourself, are you... I'd throw in loyal. I would throw in maybe someone that has a job that's something that you find to be admirable, noble. It's like, have you ever had a prior to this, at 29 years old, being someone that can get any woman they want? Have you ever had a relationship prior to this where you're like, oh man, she was a really good girlfriend, that could have been the one long term? Or have you had a friend or family member, or have you had a friend or family member that had a girlfriend that you weren't trying to get with or pop at, but you thought, man, that's a really good wife, that's a really good girlfriend? What was the job they had? Because what a person's job or career is really a big part of their purpose, and it's going to bleed over into the relationship. And if someone goes, I just don't work, ha ha ha, and they don't really have any ambition, and you go, well, I have money so I can take care of you, don't worry about it, over time it'll bother you if you work. And the problem with, if someone's going to take care of someone financially, this is a big one. If someone's going to be the breadwinner and take care of someone financially, and it's their pleasure because they make good money, you start to believe, well, if I'm going to take care of you, your job is to take care of me in other areas. And, I expect you to do this, this, and this because I'm taking care of you. Or else I start to get pissed off because I give you money. There we go. Yes, my cousin's girlfriend is a manager at Wells Fargo. She always have a guys getting at her. She is pretty and always been loyal to my cousin there, 15 years strong with 3 houses. Wow, by the way, you measure things on money, it sounds like. So you're going to want to probably be with someone that's good with money. Because you mentioned things, you value making a lot of money and having houses and things like that. So that's something you got to look for in a woman, which sounds like you're capable of because you said you can get any woman you want. Maybe, relationship cow, start going to banks. Start going to banks just to maybe test your skills. Banks do have a hot woman. I will say that. All right, we're coming up on the hour mark. Does anyone have any relationship, Cal? I'm glad you're sharing this. And being from the Bay Area myself, do you count Stockton as the Bay Area? I'm not sure. If you want to, you can. If you don't, it's all right. Grew up in San Mateo. I just want someone who's loyal, have something going on for her themselves. They don't have to have anything as long as they have a job or something. Interesting, I just had a coaching client that was in Stockton, actually. And when I asked her about Tracy, she's like, oh, my God, my family's from there. I used to go to Tracy as a kid. My brother's ex worked at a bank. She's no good. She was a pothead. Wow, there's a lot of potheads in Cali now. MXXM, where are you at in the world, MXXM? Mr. Sammy, where are you at, too? I'm just curious. You still in Petty Betty? Are you still in Atlanta? But me, I grew up without nothing, so I'm always striving for more. That's a big reason, man. I'm just saying with your answers, a lot of them are financial, like houses. Those are the things you appreciate. So you probably would line up with another woman that makes 6 figures, which there's plenty in the Bay Area, man. Find a girl at the grocery store. They should be family-oriented. Why would it... Within your previous coaching sessions, have you ever encountered someone who agreed to be friends and then successfully reconnected with the ex after she was with the other man? No. No. I had to think for a minute. No. I haven't seen that. I wouldn't say it never happens, though. I wouldn't say it never happens. I think there's a difference between being a friend that talks every day, and you being on speaking terms and being neutral, right? But being actual friends, no. And I would say all the cases I've come across after we unpack the situation, because I don't just come out, I've talked about this, and just say, no, you can't call this person. Let's talk about why you want to be friends with them or why you don't want to be friends with them, because you got to be clear on it yourself. And by the end of us talking, they're pretty clear, and they start to get honest that they actually have a covert plan. So no, I've never seen it before, and I don't try to talk people out of it. What I do is I go, all right, if you want to be friends with them, let's talk about why. What's the real reason? Well, I mean, we've been close and we have this, but are you hoping to get them back? Just, is that, and then they usually admit, and then we go through it. Are you capable of dealing with ground zero if they start dating someone else? What you're really doing is, the great term I like is weaning them off the relationship. They don't have someone waiting. They broke up with you. They're no longer attracted to you, but they really still like you to be connected to them and talk to them and hear about their day, especially women for men. And you're really doing them a favor out of the breakup. But there's a difference between ending it on good terms where you accept the breakup with grace and dignity, and then, from time to time, if they check in with you, you might answer a text, but you're not necessarily friends with them. MXXM, I'm a pothead for my PTSD Marines. My father's a Marine, but he's not a pothead. And he does have PTSD from Vietnam. So I commend you. There was just earlier on in the live stream, there was someone else that's a Marine. Not Tommy, but the first guy, Jasper J's a Marine. I'm in Seattle. There's a lot of pot in Seattle. I've only been there once. Went to a Seahawks-Niners game. I'm a pothead for my PTSD. Mm-hmm. They're saying that for PTSD, they're testing out mushrooms and not acid, but what's the other one? There's a lot of work on that right now. Did she pay for her own weed? Then that's okay. Chicago, the Bears. I just got back from work, sipping on vodka and ginger ale. It's a beautiful thing. Man, I don't drink cocktails anymore, really, but I used to like Crown Royal and ginger ale. I smoke weed, and I'm not bad. I don't think you're bad. Weed's one of those things like anything else. You can get lazy. If you do too much, it's not good for you. Some people react differently to it than other people, right? Come to find out, my ex has been talking to guys the last 8 months of our relationship. Well, at least you could laugh about it. And you're 29 years old and you get any woman you want. Start striving for something better, Chief. Start going into those banks and going, you know what, I want one of those bank managers. There's a lot of banks. There's a lot of banks in the Bay. And you're right, there's good-looking women in there. I remember. I used to have a Wells Fargo account. Okay, didn't think so. I have not heard of the dynamic playing out. I'm sure it happens sometime. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, Rob, but it's way more common that the woman will ask for that, where the guy, and guys don't mention this to me as often, would rather go, I'll break up, but I want to be friends with benefits. So it's a little different. Okay, didn't think so. I have not heard about Dynamite. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. ATL. But she always had my kid with her while I work, so I didn't think anything of it because I don't go through her phone, but she always is going through my phone when I'm sleeping. I got an alternative here for you because it sounds like you really, relationship Cal, it sounds like you really valued the fact that she took care of your kid and was good with your kid, which is admirable. That's great. So what I would say now to eliminate that in the future, and a friend of mine did this, so you don't have to deal with that in the future where you might overlook some negative qualities in a woman just if she takes care of your kid. Find yourself a really good nanny that you pay well, or an au pair that you pay well. Maybe that might be an alternative to separate the relationship of a new woman taking care of your kid. Because I don't have a kid, full disclosure. But I had another client that in his early 20s, he said he had a great relationship with this woman. They were great. And he said they didn't live together. So he said, hey, the next step, they were together like 3 years. And he said, I was like, let's move in together. And she was like, you have a daughter and I'm just not up for that. And it basically from there they broke up and it crushed him. He said he basically went celibate for 5 years because he said he just wanted to put his daughter first after that moment. But I told him at least the woman was honest with you. But maybe the answer is, so you're not looking for a woman or putting that pressure on and overlooking, is maybe find someone that's a specialist that can help you with your kid now, that with your 6-figure salary that you could pay. And then you can fill that void with someone that's what they do. I wouldn't be friends with my ex if someone else leaves. Let them leave. Just go through the pain and you'll be happier in the long run. I agree. With my ex, I tried to end it on good terms, but she's always mad and still telling me I choose my ex over her. When my ex came over to get my daughter, my girlfriend at the time went crazy. LOL. That's just not good, man. Sounds like she's a bit immature and drama. If you have a kid, you want your new girlfriend to understand that the mom's always going to be around. You're always going to have to deal with that. Maybe because of my PTSD and my ex's anxiety and depression made us part ways. I was 100% ready, though, but he wasn't. He was also a recovering alcoholic. Wow, that's a bad mix. Well, here's the good news, MXXM. There's no better time to deal with PTSD than by yourself and get your help. Go to the vet center. I know my dad got a lot of help at the vet center. And try different things. Tai Chi, yoga, meditate. Try some different things. Don't believe that it's not something that can be combated. Not speed, LSD. My best friend is a Marine vet. He's my tenant now, too. I tried smoking weed, but it makes my head spin. That's not good. I went to the VA. The pills made me more depressed, so I turned to weed, which helped me more. Thing about me is I don't look for women. I'm not desperate. I do my thing, and if it comes, it comes. I have a daughter to look after, and I have my child 6 days a week. Well, you know what? Take a bow for being a responsible father. I respect the hell out of that, man. Be careful. Some women at banks are very masculine, strong-willed. Okay. And some are really good-looking. So you must have a bank attendant that's very masculine and strong-willed. I pay my cousin $2,000 a month to watch my child now. There you go. That's a good job. Man, the Bay Area is so expensive. There's dog walkers make it. I met someone from the Bay Area out here in Thailand. They were on vacation. I tell you this before, Danny?
No.
And they were from San Bruno, which is near the airport. And she was telling me she worked in the city at like the Ritz Carlton Hotel, but she did dog walking.
Mm-hmm.
And she made $40 an hour dog walking. $40 an hour is like 1,300 baht an hour.
From dog walking?
Yes. And she would walk 2 or 3 dogs at a time.
Wow.
She was laughing. I was like, that's over $100 if you have 3 dogs. She's like, I know. I was like, what? $40 an hour? Man, inflation's a mofo right now. Isn't it? Inflation is, it's going to be one of those things that's going to be like $100 to get a burger. $40 an hour to walk my dog. Wow. You know what's always interesting to me is that some people that have a lot of money, and I don't think to make 6 figures in the Bay Area now, that's a living salary. If you correct me if I'm wrong. But not to be able to spend time with your dog or your kids and things like that, that's a big sacrifice, man. Brand new Skinner. Yo, yo, yo. You can't play with my yo-yo. How long has this been live? An hour. 1 hour, 11 minutes, Petty Betty. What does that mean? Should we make a wish? 111? Yes, I work out a lot now. My mentor is Jocko Wilnick. He does jiu-jitsu, but I do CrossFit. He works with me. He works with me still during my healing process. Wait a minute, you have a direct line to Jocko Wilnick? Wow. There was someone that posted a Jocko Wilnick story on my Discord. And he was reading about someone's breakup, and he's just like, get over it. Move on. They've decided to betray you, so just be done. And move on, as hard as it sounds. T-Mac, what's up? We had a really good one last night. Dog walking? How much is childcare then? I don't know what it costs in the Bay Area, but it's expensive. It's got to be like $2,000 a month to put your kid in daycare, and that's with 8 other kids or 7 other kids. I've been watching all the finance guys. I can't find a place to buy, going into gold big time. I got her a ring for our anniversary in May, and on top of that, I saved $20K for a new car for her. For our anniversary, I still have that damn ring I'm trying to sell. Well, at least you got the ring. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for the $10. I appreciate it, hon. Anyone else that wants to make a donation, it's graciously welcomed. I'm watching all the finance. I just got actually last 2 days ago. Lights just went out when I did that. 2 days ago, I got an email, and on my website, there's something called pay whatever you want that doesn't say donation, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically if sometime you can, that's a way you can donate if you wanted to donate. But it's also a way that if we had a live coaching session and it was 1 hour and we went 30 minutes over, then you could pay for the extra time, stuff like that. But you certainly could leave a donation or tip. But it was so cool because it said pay for future services, and it was $100, which is, I thought maybe he made a mistake, or some people get confused by the website. So I emailed him and I was like, were you paying for future services? Do you want to get a live coaching session because you paid $100? And he said, so he sent me this email. It's beautiful. Coach, what's going on? That's actually meant to be a donation or a tip. I thought there was going to be a place somewhere on there to write a little note. Maybe I screwed it up. Anyways, this is, and he wrote his initials from the Discord. And he's the one that came across my testimonial video from 10 years ago. I went through a breakup about 9 months ago. I'm not really comfortable unpacking it, at least not yet, but I still want to thank you for helping me. I watch the live streams as a guest when I can catch up when I can't. We're all blessed to have you in our lives, doing what you do, the topics you bring up, the stories you share, the advice you give, and your extremely affable nature are exactly what people like me, especially me, need to hear. This shit matters. You're more like a friend. If someone had told me a year ago that we'd still be dealing with a pandemic and that I'd lose my fiance and her family, by extension, via breakup, but some guy who's a complete stranger with a YouTube channel living in Phuket, Thailand, would be one of the positive group of people who most helped me hope through it all, I wouldn't have believed them. And that says almost as much about you, man. I think about it. So again, I wanted to send you something to show my appreciation. It's not much, but it's well deserved. It's a really kind note, man. I appreciate it. You know, if someone does something well for you or someone at work, make sure you say thank you and reassure them that you appreciate them, because it goes a long ways. It means a lot. It means a lot. So I just thought I would share that. But life's a trip, man. Like he said, if I would have said a year ago, you know, I'd lose my fiance and I'd be watching some guy's videos on YouTube and really line up with me, and he lives in Phuket, Thailand. It's just, life's crazy, man. Be open. Be open to anything. Six figure in the Bay is not much. I know. You can make 6 figures working at a restaurant in the Bay. 6 figures, Danny, is like 3 million baht a year. Sweet Betty has my brother from another. Yes, my brother was his teammate back in the day. Really? Wow, that's a pretty big name to be your brother. Jocko Willnick's got a following. I've actually, you know, I don't go on all the other YouTube channels. I've seen this guy, Kevin Samuels, before. I haven't watched a lot of his videos, Skinner, but I think he's obviously very egotistical, and I mean, his approach with women, you know, if you're fat or you're of a certain age, it's like, yeah, just, you know, shut up. I think the way he does his videos and things like that, it's one of those, it's audacity, right? And people are attracted to audacity. Certainly there's some points he makes that are true, but everything that he comes about is revolved around, you know, how much money you make and things like that. And you know what? It's true for people like him. Sometimes I've noticed, a lot of times I've noticed, when people give their opinions now or have their channels, and I have a channel and I have an opinion, and opinions aren't correct or not correct. They're opinions, they're not facts, right? And they're based on life experiences and approach, and they're based on people's backgrounds. Sometimes people have an opinion, but they convey it in a way that it's a law for everyone else to follow. And if you start following people in that way, where you're like, oh, all women are just about money. So you don't, you know, if you want to upgrade, you need to upgrade your bank account. It's like, okay, if you want to believe that, you can. Is it true that money counts? Hell yeah. So do morals and values, if you want to get a woman with good morals and values. There's a lot of guys out there with a lot of money, right? And they get a younger woman that's really good looking, but their relationship isn't great. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an ego thing. It's like Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump's wife's how much younger than him? Or did they get a divorce yet? I don't follow any of this gossip, but it's just one of those examples. I mean, does anyone think that they have a really happy relationship where they spend a lot of time together, or he just get himself a side piece that he can show off that's an ex-model, and she got herself fame and money? But that doesn't necessarily translate into a good relationship. So someone like, someone that online that goes, oh, I got this Lamborghini. I'm not talking about Kevin's. I got a Lamborghini. I got a Ferrari Testarossa. I got this. I got that. I got women. It's like, you're still not telling the whole story. Those are possessions. Those are materialistic items. It doesn't translate over to you being happy. And to me, listen, I want to make a lot of money in the future. Right? I'd like to see my channel get bigger. I'd like to increase my income, and I don't have problems with people making a lot of money. I don't. But this idea that it's automatic happiness or you automatically get any woman you want, careful what you wish for. There's people out there that are really good at making a lot of money. Newsflash, some of them aren't really good at meeting good women. There's a difference between meeting someone that's good and lines up with you and meeting someone that's just good looking. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then someone that has all that money is like, oh, I can't believe she did this to me. I can't believe she did that. Yeah, because you're not good at choosing your values that you're filtering for. You're just filtering for looks, or you're just filtering for, here's another thing. The Way of the Superior Man, which is a book. Danny, you've researched some notes on that book, right? Mm-hmm. Right. One of the greatest parts of that book is he says the superior man does not just seek opportunity after opportunity. And what he means by that is you get to a point where you get dialed in on what you want to do and who you want to be. So, relationship, Cal, you're a correctional officer. I'm guessing that if you make six figures and you got a career, you got a pension, you're happy and proud of your job, I hope. That's big. That's big. Opportunist a lot of time applies to when, your dad or a friend of yours is like, oh, there's a job opening over at the supermarket. A friend of mine can get you a job. That's someone just swinging from opportunity to opportunity, but they're never thinking, okay, I want to be a fireman. Is that job going to help me be a fireman? You see where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. So when we go into dating, I think what people lose track of is, are you doing the same thing when you're searching out a long term? And it's different than when you're just fucking for sport. When you're just sleeping with women for sport, which is a whole nother ball game, which I'm not against. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But if you want to look for a high quality individual, like a relationship Cal just mentioned, where he said, oh, my cousin's wife of 15 years, she's a bank manager, they own 3 houses, she's loyal as hell, they've been together 15 years. If you want to find one of those, you got to filter for it. You got to go, where does a woman like that hang out? Or is that where I've been meeting women before? The woman that I just met, how different is she than that woman? And what did I overlook while we were dating that would have told me that she might have the propensity to spend 13 grand on Jordans in 8 months? That shit didn't happen by accident. Yes, my brother was his teammate. Okay. Wow, Jocko's, you're that close. Well, I take that as a big compliment that you come on my thing and you're that close to a celebrity that big. Wow. Jocko Willow. I really like David Goggins' book, You Can't Hurt Me. That was an excellent book. Excellent book. Well, if you're looking for a distraction, Rust Valley Restoration is binge-worthy on Netflix. Canadian guys in British Columbia who restore cars. Okay. I mean, I never thought I'd be watching your videos, to be honest. No problem. It's like I talk to people in a live coaching session in the first 5 minutes. I go, congratulations, you're looking for solutions because you're taking a chance with someone you saw on YouTube and you're going, I'm going to talk to them about my breakup for the next hour or 2 hours, and I'm going to pay $125 for it an hour. I go, you're looking for solutions. This is part of you getting better. It's part of you getting better. If you have 3 million baht in Thailand, what would that get you? For what, a house? Or, I mean, what are you asking for? 3 million baht is about 90,000 US.
Mm-hmm.
Could you buy a house for 3 million baht? Yeah.
Yeah.
Phuket, where we live, you probably aren't going to get something very nice.
Yeah, places are expensive here.
Yeah. What's an island with world-class beaches? That's not an understatement. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful place. You're born and raised here, Danny, so it's just kind of like, oh, this is where I live. But, I mean, it's pretty nice. I'm happy that Jocko helped you out. He seems like a real dude. I know I've heard before he's from Delaware or New Hampshire. And I remember he was being interviewed, and he was like, I found out quickly that I didn't want to be in Delaware for the rest of my life. There was a lot of hacky sackers there, and I wasn't into hacky sacking. Sorry, because you know him so well. Maybe I'm getting his voice wrong. Yeah, I know. I knowing certain narcissists is there thrown out, but seems like that way for sure. Never heard from her, and it's been 18 months, but found out after our breakup she cheated. So May. If I buy this property, I'll have plenty to keep me busy for years. Won't be thinking about any exes. Well, good luck on that. It's a competitive offer situation. I remember those. Exactly, pro. Keep doing you. My ex didn't care about money, and she's beautiful. She could have had a rich man if that's what she wanted. That makes sense, Coach. My ex was 42, and the one he's talking to again is 28. I'm 36. 36, man. You're in your prime, hon. Place in 3 minutes from a lake and has a creek running through the backyard and butts up against a wooded hill. Sounds beautiful. That's British Columbia? T-Mac, you got to keep yourself busy, brother. Buy it, man. Focus on yourself, bro. You're doing great. That's one of the most beautiful places in the world, too. I know I've been to Victoria. Gorgeous. King Solomon was fabulously wealthy and had thousands of wives and concubines. He wrote his midlife crisis book. I can't even read that. Excelsius, and wrote that everything was emptiness apart from God. Wow. I think it's safe to say we find happiness from different things for different people. I look like shit, but I make 30 an hour making ice cream. Resigned, but I'll be back. Making ice cream? $30 an hour making ice cream? Damn. I look like shit? That's a bad statement, hun. Don't talk like that. The thing about looks, you can work with that. People that look good or look bad, it's marginal changes, but that's a state of mind. Cybernetics is a good book to look at. Don't say you look like shit. I agree. I'd like to see this call, Cal. I agree. I'd like to see this. I realized I had a lot of stuff I had to work on. I don't talk to anybody, so that's why it's hard for me. That's maybe why you need his call, Cal. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. You're 29 years old, Cal. Clutch, who was on yesterday, who has his own channel, The Truth of Love. He was just saying that, you know, everyone should talk to someone. He went through 17 therapists, and he had some things. I went to a couple people when I had my bad breakup 10 or 11 years ago. And sorry, Rob, because you've heard this before. But I did 3 sessions of hypnotherapy in San Francisco, actually, relationship Cal. I talked to a spiritual healer / psychic type of woman for 2 hours. That was really good. But I never went to like once a week counseling or therapy like you'd get from one of those. Those 4 people served me really well, and I went to one friend in particular that really helped me out. But I would say that if you don't talk to anybody, that's why it's hard for me. That's a choice, and I would say that maybe you haven't talked to the right person, and open yourself up to, for example, if you talk to me, if you didn't like it or we didn't have a good rapport, try someone else. I don't think it's as cut as, you know what I mean? It's just like going to a restaurant. I don't really like this guy Mac's approach. No sweat off my balls. I'm doing the, I'm gonna take the approach that I think's the best for you, or I'm gonna lead with good intentions, but you might meet someone else. But to say, I don't like to talk to anybody, it's good for you, man. It's good for you. It really is. Because a job like yourself, it's a corrections officer, is a tough job. I haven't done it before, but your atmosphere at work probably makes it so that you can't appear weak. And so you probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you probably carry that identity outside of work sometimes, right? And so that's what would breed the idea that you can't be vulnerable or share some of these things. Because I've had clients before, like, I don't tell anyone this, right? You need to divulge it to someone who's not going to judge you or look down on you or make a smart-ass remark. And it's probably not going to be from someone you work with. Book a session with them if you don't want to call. Yeah, we just do a session instead. If you're not open to, I'll call and talk to anybody. I literally don't talk to anyone. Yeah, Dab is awesome. I know, bro. I feel it's depressing, especially with everything. I don't look at him as a celebrity, though. Like most, he's like an older brother. I'm scared, but it's a blessing. 3 million bought. Yeah, house, lifestyle. If I was going to say lifestyle, then I would probably say if you had 60 to 70,000 bought a month, which is about $2,000 to $2,300 you could pretty much live and do what you wanted without being frivolous. If you had $3,000 a month, which would be about 90,000 baht a month, you could live a pretty good lifestyle. And Phuket's the most expensive place. Now, Danny would say that would be right. That's way more. But I'm saying, yeah, if you had $3,000 a month, 90,000 baht, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. Live a really good lifestyle, eat dinner out every night, have a pretty nice place to rent. But 60 to 70,000 baht, which is $2,000, you could live very well. Extravagant? No, but eat. I mean, I pretty much eat out all the time. Part of why I want to move out of the country is I'm going to be alone. May as well be near nature and clean air. Absolutely. Whenever I talk to Mac, it's not even about breaking a breakup, but I still help you, right? I talk to a lot of people now that are past clients, and sometimes it's not relationship based. Thanks, Coach. I just try to get any help from all sides as much as I can. I tend to be very closed off sometimes, but I try. It wasn't for you, Coach Lee. I think I'd drive myself insane. You might want to try hypnotherapy, MXXM, and EFT, emotional freedom technique. Those are some things that I do with clients now. If you want to try that with me, it might help you with your PTSD also. I'm planning on staying single the next few years, so I know I'll be okay. I just have anxiety here, and because of the depression from the breakup, I just can't wait to get over this breakup. I work for Wells Enterprises, Blue Bunny. I'm a team lead. I'm not familiar with that. Oh, I talked to my boss about a raise and more vacation time, and he said he was really happy with my work and is talking to finance to make it happen. That's outstanding, T-Mac. You know, a friend of mine just went to an area called Tolta, Mexico. Looked beautiful. It's near the Caribbean, I think. Let me see this. Because a lot of people, Thailand's a little far for you guys. You don't have the, is it Mexico? Tolta, Mexico. Tulum, Mexico. Tulum. Yeah, it looks gorgeous, man. Have you seen this, Danny?
No.
Caribbean coastline of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula.
Well, it looks really good.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it kind of looks like Thailand, to be frank.
Yeah.
And my friend from California just went there. He just got, but he said he was doing an Airbnb for like $2,500 a month that was near the beach, which I found high. But he's got a bunch of Bitcoin and stuff like that, so he's riding high right now. But he said it's gorgeous. I go, have you had any fish tacos? He's like, bro, I just finished fish tacos. Yeah, it looks beautiful. Tulum. I've never, because everyone goes to, everyone likes to go to Cancun, but Tulum, Mexico, I've never seen before. It just looks gorgeous. My friend was like, come out, you can stay at my place. That's great, T-Mac. I would get out. Amazing. I didn't get fired because when my ex broke up with me, I watched X-Back videos for 2 months at work. It's not what I don't like to talk to anybody. It's just that I have a small family, and they're all busy. My cousin committed suicide a year ago from his breakup, and he was the only guy I spoke to. Shit, man. That just gave me chill. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Like I said, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk. I just lost my sister a couple of years ago. It's tough, man. About 2.5 years ago. It was just her birthday yesterday, actually. My cousin had 2 kids. I talked to him about it, but he was just too stressed and shot himself. Don't you ever let it get to that point, Cal. Sorry to hear that, man. Really sorry to hear that, Cal. I'm going to only say it away because it took me 30 years to love myself for the first time. I still struggle to look at myself in the mirror. That resent breakup really messed me up, and I got to do it over. I troll myself so I could heal quicker. Well, Cal, you just shared something that was, we're an hour and 39 minutes in, and you shared something there that's deeper than your breakup, but sometimes we layer things like that. It's human to do, and it feels like when it rains, it pours. But this is the one thing I tell you in situations like this: keep showing up in your life. Keep showing up for your kid. Keep showing up for your job. Keep showing up for the family that's still around. And if you have the opportunity to help someone in the future, you will. What's life without the sour and the sweet, right? We can't control any of it. But we can control how we look at things, right? It's crazy how much they paid. New employees just get paid 18 off the bat. Great company. Well, that's excellent. Best ice cream in the world. Okay. Oh, May, you actually live in Mexico, right? Tulum is gorgeous. Yeah, a friend of mine who's a world traveler, he's staying there right now, and he's working remote. He used to live in Orange County. He was laughing. It looks gorgeous. I love Mexican food's my favorite. Danny was just asking me yesterday, if you open a restaurant, I've never really wanted to open a restaurant. And I said, I don't even know, but Mexican food's my favorite food. Probably mixed with good pizza too. Like really good pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat it all the time, but man, that lunch was good yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
It's just, you have good pizza, it's like, oh. It's a different thing than having bad pizza, even though you'll still eat bad pizza. I like Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante. He's a big Bitcoin guy living in Mexico, Canadian expat, and almost every beach near it. Many hugs, Cal. MC comes out of nowhere. My life is the best in years now. I had depression after my breakup and did medication for a short time, but eventually you get through it and you start to feel good. Then you feel great and start creating a new life. Well, one of the reasons I do breakup coaching is because when I had a bad breakup now 11 years ago, it's the first time I ever felt depressed. And everyone's breakup's a little different. The actual what happened might be similar, but your interpretation and your feelings are always a little different. And I have absolute compassion and understanding, but on the flip side, you are going to get through it. My little brother committed suicide. I can relate. Jeez. Sorry to hear that. He just came back from deployment months prior. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm almost at the point of thinking about my ex has zero emotion. I still dream about her a lot, but I shake these off quickly after waking up. That's good news. It's been 18 months? What's that Michael Jackson song? I don't know which one. There's a lot of Michael Jackson songs. You Are Not Alone? I wished I lived in Mexico. Yeah, that Tulum area looks gorgeous. I haven't seen you on in a while, May. Yeah, there's another guy that watches the channel, and he's on Instagram, and he owns a... Have you seen him on the Instagram, Danny? He owns a pizza shop. He's always posting, like, giant pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a pizza place in Mexico City.
Yeah,
and the pizza looks so good. And he's like, I'm so sick of pizza. But isn't it amazing how the internet covers, right? Mm-hmm. Here you are connecting with some guy with a pizza shop in Mexico City, and I'm in Phuket. And then he's like, if you ever come to my shop. I'm like, all right. I don't know if I'm ever going to go to Mexico City, but if I do, I will come by. Calvin Sam, what's up? Remember the Budweiser commercial? What's up? Wasabi. I logged into my other YouTube account. Laugh out loud. It's a relationship, Cal. Calvin is my real name. Okay. I love pizza. Well, pizza loves you. This is an American tradition, pizza. I don't think pizza's the same way in Italy, but I haven't been to Italy. I don't think they don't make it the same. But I love tacos, man. Street tacos. Oh. When I go back to California, one of those taco trucks, just with, carne asada or grilled chicken with the cilantro and the little diced onions. Ay, chihuahua. Been learning El Espanol for a while. Pretty good vocab now, but need to live somewhere to get fluent. Oh, yeah, that's where you do it. That's where you do it. 18 months since she moved. You know what's amazing about that? Someone that's going through a bad breakup and T-Mac goes, yeah, it's been 18 months, but I'm finally feeling really good. They're going to go, oh, what? I got 18 months of this? But here's the thing, T-Mac. Here's the thing, man. You just get 1% better or a little bit better every day, and you heal right rather than just jump into something you're not happy with or extremely bitter or angry. You went through the motions, and now you're going to be better off for it. Somebody I used to know. He left 2 kids, Petty Betty. It sucks. I told him not to do it. Then 3 months later, he did it. Mexico's beaches and little towns are amazing. You will love it. I know a lot of Canadians living on beaches here. Where are you at, May? Are you also in Mexico City? I forgot where you said you were from. And I don't know Mexico well at all. That's the real deal. Oh, yeah, Mexican tacos are great. What about Asian food, Coach? I'm half Asian, and I need my pho noodles. Are you Vietnamese? Well, I live in Thailand, so we eat a lot of Thai food here. I don't even think... Is there even a Vietnamese shop in Phuket, Danny, that you know of?
Vietnamese shop?
Like pho noodles? You know what pho is?
No.
It's a kind of noodles. I don't think so.
I don't think we had one.
But Thai food's great. We have some
Yeah.
Chinese places, some places, but I mean, Thai food has a lot of curries. Actually, you know what's surprising that you'd be surprised in Thailand?
Mm-hmm.
We have Indian restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine asked me, "Oh, I bet they don't have Indian food there," and took me to some Indian place in California. And I never liked Indian food before, but in Thailand, I like it.
Why?
The first time, like I told people, a lot of times things you don't like is because your first experience you didn't like, so then you just don't do it again. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, we never ate it when I was a kid. My dad we never ate Indian food, so I had no idea. And I had a few friends that were Indian, and this isn't like to make fun or anything, but their houses used to really smell, which I think Indian people would even admit from the cooking. And the thing is, like in California, people leave their windows open in NorCal. So houses would be stuffy, right? And I just remember being like, ugh, like the smell of, you know what I mean? The smell. Yeah. So I always associated the smell with, Indian food and it not being good. And then the first Indian restaurant a friend of mine took me to was like an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it was gross. And it stunk. And the guy thought it was just wonderful, and it was like a mentor at work, so I wasn't going to say no, and he was paying for lunch. So I just never went again, and the plate, like I said, it stunk. And so I just thought I didn't like Indian food, and then I went to a place in Chiang Mai, and people from the UK and England love Indian food. It's like their favorite. It's like Mexican food in California. It's their favorite food. So a couple of my buddies from the UK were like, "Oh, mate, did you try this curry, mate?" I'm like, what? Buttered chicken or some of these things. And then when I tried it here, the restaurants didn't smell as bad because they're more open air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't have, if they're closed in, they have AC and they just smell fresher. So I think that was part of it. And I just went to the first time I had Indian food, it wasn't good. So I just figured it was all bad. But I like, it was funny. I was just eating, there was a couple of Chinese women that were at a cookout that I was at. Well, we have here in Phuket, we have good seafood.
Yeah.
I just take it for granted, but we have giant prawns and calamari, fresh. People get calamari right off the beach here, giant squid. But you can pretty much get anything where I live. But I still like Mexican food. And actually, I like fusion of lop guy with tacos. I like making Thai food with tacos.
Where do you get Mexican food around here?
The only place left now is that place near Villa Market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one. And they're okay. It's okay. I don't think it's it's not like the tacos you get in Mexico. I used to live in Mexico City. My brothers lived there. I thought it was Mexico City. Let me be straight. It wasn't 18 months of pain. It was up and down, and COVID made it much worse. And my last phase was rage at her for a couple of months, and then it seemed to burn off. Okay. I like it when you're straight. No, I'm Thai, Cambodian, Lao, and part Polish. Wow, that's a mix. Wow, those are all countries that are bordering each other, I think, right? Or no, those are Lao and Cambodia border Thailand. That's right. I think Cambodia. It's not a geography lesson here. Cambodia borders Laos too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The trifecta.
They're all like next to Thailand.
Mm-hmm. And part Polish. What a mix. I love. Have you been to Thailand? MXXM. I loved living in Thailand. Love it. Love the people. Love the culture. Love the food. Have you ever got a chance to come back? I'm half Asian and half angel. Oh God. Petty Betty's Vietnamese, 100%. You got the nails. Yes, I have my mom's size. Can I get a private help on how to win my ex back? Kyle Jackson. Kyle Jackson, go to writemac.com, send your story, and you could book a session. It's $125 an hour. If you don't find a live coaching session useful or helpful, I will return your money. But I will tell you this, full disclosure, KJ, Kyle Jackson, I don't promise to win your ex back. So if you talk to me because you just want to win them back, maybe it's not a good person to talk to because I'm not going to promise that. I will unpack your breakup with you, some clarity, really get into it, but I'm not going to guarantee to win them back. But we can talk about what went down and the possibilities and whatnot. I'm Vietnamese, and we have peanut sauce for the spring rolls. That's it. Okay. There's a lot of Thai places now in the West Coast, though. Nice, Sam. I speak. I'll understand a little, but I understand fluently. What do you speak Thai? MXXM? I've had a few Thai people send in stories, Danny. Mm-hmm. Not in a long time. But I haven't had any. I've actually had Petty Betty. I've had maybe 3 women that were Vietnamese. That were all living in different countries than Vietnam, but were born there. So, Petty Betty, you're American, but American Vietnamese. But, or Vietnamese American, excuse me. I love peanut sauce. Okay. If you guys want to jump on the Discord so you guys can chat on that off the live stream, go ahead and join that. It'll be in the notes. It's a good way for you guys to interact or ask me questions. I'd rather eat it with fish sauce, though, with peanuts. Okay. You mean spring rolls? All right, we're getting all over the place, and I'm getting hungry now. It's 2:41. 2:41 p.m. Time flies. We're hitting up 2 hours right now. Any closing questions, folks? Like I said, Kyle, we can do a private. I won't promise to win your ex back. The goal is to win you back, to get you back to a place where you're strong enough to be with them or be without them. Yes, all three languages. My Polish side, not so much. I grew up with my mom's side. They split before I was born in 84. All three languages. Wow. Is Cambodian and Lao similar to Thai, you think, Danny? I don't think this.
No.
No, right? Lao would be more similar to Thai than Cambodian.
Yeah.
For sure. Because Lao, they say Sabaidi Mai is high. Sabaidi is high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spidey is just asking, like, how are you?
In Lao, too?
Yeah, I guess.
But they kind of use it as hello.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Thailand, we'd say Swati Cup or Swati Ka, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ka. No. Thai and Lao is, yeah. Got to come out to Thailand. Du ma. Someone wrote, Calvin Sam wrote, Du ma. What does that mean? Look dog? What do you want to say? Isn't that what that would say? He wrote DUUM-AAA. Du ma.
I don't know what that means.
Would that be look?
Yeah.
And ma would be dog or horse.
Mm-hmm.
This is how confusing Thai is. Ma means come, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't mean, no pun intended. Ma means dog, right?
Yeah.
And horse, ma.
Yeah.
I'm pretty. Now I can do it, huh? So if you just get the tone just a little bit wrong, you might call someone a dog when you're telling them to come here. Mm-hmm. T-Mac, guess what? I speak Spanish on a daily basis. See, I'm the perfect Airbnb client. Don't try to win your ex back. Win yourself back, brother. Be without them. Let them go. I would say that a majority of the time, if you're a knee-jerk, one thing you got to do, though, Kyle, is it's really good for you to go through your whole story, my opinion, with someone like myself or someone else. But write it all out, because when you're dealing with emotion, you leave stuff out. And then you got to process all that and ask yourself, why did we break up? Are things going to change? If they're not going to change, what am I chasing? Some people are chasing an ex, and I'm not going to tell you not to want them back, but sometimes you're chasing the relationship that was there a year ago, and now the circumstances have changed, and you somehow think you'll either give in or the circumstances will change if you just get back together. But you broke up for a reason, and you need time to process that. So if you just want someone back to get rid of the hurt and the pain, it's like what Calvin Sam's talking about right now. Maybe he feels like, he paid too much money for this or that and this, but you almost need to process it for a little while and really figure out what it is you want. Not that you just want to feel better. Trust me, Kyle, just do you and go through the emotion and pain and let them go, man. If they love you, they'll come back, but work on yourself. That's what it means. Duma. Duma would be, look, dog. I hear people say that a lot. Or is that a Korean thing? Or a Vietnamese thing? I'm the most pain ever, but I got to deal with it. One of the things I tell people too, if you come back to the fact that you did the best you could in a lot of cases. I would go get a hotter man. Okay, Petty Betty. All right, folks, we're coming up on 2 hours. It's been good. What percentage of breakups reconcile if you know magnet to
Magnet of focus, of success.
magnet of success? Thanks, Danny. Thought it was only 3%. You know what? I mean, first of all, what would you consider reconciling? Because this is what happens a lot, T-Mac. People get back together and then they break up 6 months later. So does that count? Do you know what I mean? If you're going to, here's one that I would say that would probably hold weight different is if you break up numerous times, then that's going to be a playbook throughout the relationship, and it's going to make it weaker and weaker, and eventually someone's going to break up. If you break up once and someone has an alcohol problem and the person fixes the alcohol problem, then it's very definitive what the problem is, and then the problem gets fixed. And then you can go on for a long period of time. But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What's reconciled if you break up 6 months later or three months later? The problem has to be very clear what needs to be fixed. And someone has to make a sacrifice. Someone has to give in. It's usually one person's done something wrong or some person has to compromise. I know that the large majority of exes reaching out don't lead to getting back together. I think sometimes they hook up, sometimes, yeah. I guess that could be true. I'm not asking for myself. I don't want my cheating ex back. I was just curious. I know. I would still say it's, always treat your breakup situation as an individual situation and don't generalize and try to put it in a box. And that's what I pride myself on doing when I do a live coaching session and listen to your story. Because if you put yourself in a box and you say, oh, exes never come back or this or that, really treat your situation as your situation and get to the bottom of that. But I know you just asked that, T-Mac, out of curiosity. I get it. I totally get it. Any study on that or something like that, it would be flawed. Trust me, I know the pain. But myself, I could never take an ex back for leaving, especially if she left me and slept with that person. Have respect for yourself, bro. You're better than that. Okay, there's no restraints open there. All right, folks, I'm gonna go. I got to get something to eat here. 14 on deck, 9 likes, $10. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate it, hon. Petty Betty, thanks for staying until the end and always giving us some good feedback. Calvin Sam, always welcome, my friend. Yin D, which means welcome, right, Danny? Mm-hmm. Not you're welcome, but welcome. And T-Mac, good to see you, bud. I'm happy that you're making moves. Mexico's finest. Old Mexico. Rob, Guardian of the Gate. Who else do we have? Kyle Jackson, if you want to do that session, let's do it. MXXM, you got an interesting set of things going for you here. You speak 3 different languages. You work at the #1 ice cream shop in Seattle. You are a Marine. That's an interesting profile, hon. What else we got here? Jenny came in before. Anyone else still on deck? No. Thanks all for making this a really good stream. Join the Discord if you like. And I'll catch you later. Curtains.